My name is John Slack. I've been with KMC for about 7 years now. I'm the Director of Training and Development, and partner training is what I focus primarily on. I am moving in towards internal training as well now, but providing knowledge to your employees is very important. Now, I understand a training class, getting them prepared to go to a training class is something that we have a lot of prerequisites. They have time with work. So I'll touch on some things there that we have more learning opportunities than just a training class. So, and we'll cover that. If I turn this on. All right, so our product knowledge training, we kind of have three areas. So we have partner portal access. With the partner portal, you can access our documentation. And we have extensive documentation that is, for a lot of people, I don't need to go to training. And that's fine. Some people don't need to go to training. They can read it all and gain their information they need that way. And it's trial and error. But we have extensive documentation available for free for every product we have. And if it doesn't have the right information, it soon will after you tell us that it doesn't have the right information, because we keep our documentation pretty up to date. The learning management system, so we now have a learning management system where we have, there's over 80 courses there now, and they're free for every KMC partner. And as long as you have just a tech access, you can actually give access to your, not only to your employees, but your customers as well. So you can give your customers KMC Partner Portal access as a tech, and then depending on how many people you have in your company, you can actually, I can set you up with your own branch. So not only your employees, but your customers, so you can track and be on top of the KMC product knowledge learning of not only your employees, but your customers as well. So you might have some customers that you feel okay giving them a little more information, that they're technologically adept at learning things quickly, and that if they know KMC product knowledge, it makes it easier for you in the future. And they'll be able not only be able to, they might be able to fix some things for themselves, but they'll also be able to explain it a little better to you what the problem is if they know a little bit more information. And that's through LMS. And then the last thing is our classes. So the first two are free for every KMC partner and the customer. So as long as you are a partner, anyone can get Partner Portal access. If they have access as a tech, they will not see pricing. So, and I'll cover what they do get to see in the future. So, but the classes right now, we are limited to only virtual classes due to the current state we're in. I don't have a time frame when we're going to open it up to in-person classes, but I'll touch on class options as well during this presentation. So Partner Portal, you got free software and downloads and free documentation downloads. And what I'll do is after the session, I'll actually show you the Partner Portal, show you if you're not registered, I can get you registered. If you're not set up or you want to be set up as a branch, I can do that for you as well. So we have product documentation, like I said, extensive product documentation, firmware updates, so firmware and software updates. Firmware updates, always call tech support. Just because there's a firmware update doesn't mean you need the firmware update. Sometimes if you update the firmware too soon, not that it happens often, but there could be a bug that could cause a problem. So if you have a system that's working properly, maybe hold off on the firmware updates unless you need it to solve a specific problem. Software updates, same thing. Some applications, because you can have different versions of, first of all, firmware running on different hardware, but using the same software. So software, once again, if you're having an issue that you need to update it, go ahead and update. But for the most part, sometimes software updates happen when we develop new products, so you're able to configure those products with the software. So, and usually those software, the release notes will tell you what's coming in that software release, so you'll be able to know if, okay, I have that issue, I need to update that software. All right, simple thing, just how to search. So documentation. Sometimes you're in the field, your guys are in the field, and they want their information like quickly, they need an answer. If you have time, you might be able to find the answer in the documentation a little quicker than calling tech support. Tech support, a lot of times, will help you and identify where that information can be found. So that might be a first step, and they'll share with you the documentation. But at the same time, if you do a search, 5051E router, that's the search icon there. You type it in there, and then you click the Documents tab. So you click the Documents tab, and we have an extensive list of documents, from brochures to troubleshooting guides. So if it's listed with the 5051E router, it gives you your data sheet. That's more for your sales reps or for spec sheets. But then also you can get your firmware updates here, guide specification, installation guides. So like I said, every product we have has extensive documentation, and documentation can be your first step in your product knowledge learning. So some people learn differently. Basically, my theory is everybody learns the same. They're just stronger in different areas of learning. Some learn by seeing, some learn by reading, some learn by doing, some learn by all three. So our documentation, like I said, extensive, robust, and you should be able to find answers. But look there first, call tech support if you can't find your answer. And if it's not in there, if it should be in there, we will update the documentation to make sure it is in there for the future. So downloads, you just click downloads, and then you can limit by firmware or software, and then you can find what you need to update. So if you look here at the, like right in here, that's the latest total control release. You can sort it by when it's updated, so you can find what you need to do, download it. And once again, if you're having a serious issue that the software firmware is going to correct, and you've already checked with tech support that you can do it and should do it, then go ahead and do it. But once again, if you get into that situation, you might update the firmware, and it might cause some problems. So make sure it's correcting the issue that you're need it for. All right, learning management system. So we have available courses that not only will teach you about, part of our learning management system begins with the instructor-led training. So there's a one-stop shop. You click on training, you'll come to our learning management system. You have a course catalog, and then your My Courses. So My Courses is the courses you've already been assigned to you. And then if you've attended, the certifications are only for instructor-led training classes. So if your people have attended an instructor-led training class, your certifications will appear under there. And then training, we have a lot of information on training. The first step to help you in your planning process is going to the instructor-led training tab, and then you have a guide to KMC training. So the first tab, the scheduled training classes, that'll list all the training classes, and I'll cover that later, how to register for a class. But the guide to KMC training, and then you click download the guide. If you're wanting to, when we open it up finally, to in-person classes, have a class at your location if you have enough customers or enough employees, and usually the minimum is kind of 6, and then I'll work with you to get scheduling and coordination done, and then we will ship all our hardware to your location, and this document has the facility requirements that we recommend to provide the best instruction for a training class. So you don't want just a conference table that 10 people are sitting around and it's crammed, and so you want to have enough space. And there's actually, in this manual, there's a little graphic that shows you our recommended layout, but you can do similar, but you want to have some space. So we do have the requirements, and then we have feeding the people in class. So everything you need to know about hosting facility preparation. So that tells you everything you know. We recommend an on-site coordinator that we coordinate with to make sure we can ship hardware to you. But like I said, I'll work with you to develop a class. We may have classes not hosted at a partner location, so we've done classes at an off-site facility. So not one partner is has to worry about filling the class. We'll have it at a location, and any partner can go to it. So, but the hosting options, you can either host one or hold a private class. Private class is just you, your partners, your customers, and your employees. A hosted class would be your customers, employees, and then open to all KMC partners. But the guide to KMC training, and I'll show you where to find this when I showed you where, but after class, if you need help, you can go ahead and download it. But we have class options right now. Virtual is the only thing we're doing. The in-person, and like I said, we have the private and hosted classes. All right, I'm probably going through this pretty quick, but it's
A small group.
yes. I got the brightest and the best here. There you go. All right, so the KMC Online Training Guide. That guide, you can download the guide, open it up, and what we have is a list of learning paths I've created to help depending on your employees. So if you have just sales employees, they don't need to see every course. They just need to get the overview courses for all our products. So that'll give them a higher level overview of our products in combination to them looking through our partner portal at the data sheets. So they'll see the data sheets, they can watch these videos. But if you have a sales group, you want to be on all the same page on KMC products. We have tests after this, so you can watch the videos on our YouTube channel, and most of those videos I've taken into our learning management system, and there's a little test afterwards. So it will actually, if they've read it, and it's one of those things that we want to set you up to succeed. So that's why we provide you as much information as possible. So with that, we have learning paths. You can watch a video, but then the product documentation. So product documentation tied with the online courses will create a better learning experience for your employees, and hopefully they'll learn about KMC products a lot quicker. Everyone will learn the same information as well. So that's the other thing. It's a baseline of KMC product knowledge. It'll not only prepare them to work with KMC, but it can also prepare them for attending a training class. And that's what one of the other content for the is the class prerequisites. So you don't have to go through and pick and choose the courses, and I'll show you the course catalog when we actually go into the website. But you don't have to go through and click all the individual courses. You join a learning path, all those courses will be added to the individual people. So once again, I'm not sure if we can do it through a branch administrator can do it, but I can do it. And I'm looking with our learning management system to make sure that can happen, that you can actually add a learning path to an individual. If you can't, each individual can, so they can join their learning path. And the other thing is, if you need me to do it, that's just to email me, add the learning path to these people, I can do that. That's not a problem. Until I get the system worked out that they do it for me. And then with the learning management system, like I said, learning paths, KMC our courses are KMC hardware and software. And then we have some more technical courses that are also technician. So I've created a technician learning path. We have wiring videos, how to wire our products properly, because you don't want to let the magic smoke out if you wire it like a Siemens or anything else. So. And that's never happened before from anybody, I'm sure. So, but we also have some cybersecurity courses. So as everybody knows, cybersecurity is a huge thing in our industry right now. Good reason. Anyone dealing with government contracts probably has to be able to prove that they somehow are using cybersecurity in some way or another. At KMC, we're developing hardware that we have to prove is cybersecure. So not only is it just the employees are aware of it, we have to follow specific guidelines to develop software securely. So we're doing that internally, but we also, employees are the first line of defense in cybersecurity. So we have some free courses and there are 9 courses. Your employees can take them, they're free, like I said, but it's a baseline of what you can do to protect you and your company in order to be cyber secure. So it gives you some of the examples of ransomware, phishing attacks, email scams, and so on. So they're free, and it's a great start to just build that awareness for your employees. The learning path and course catalog, like I said, it just lists a description of everything. So this gives you a quick description. If you log into the training section, you'll also see the description when you look through each courses. But this gives you an idea, and you can download this PDF and print it out at your leisure, or just save it to your computer. Other place, like I said, is the course catalog. Will list everything that's found in the learning paths and course catalog as well. But this is live through the website. All right. How to empower your employees in KMC knowledge. So if you have And I can do this for anybody. It doesn't matter how many employees you have. It's not that hard to do. So if you want to manage everybody, if you have 2, if you have 20, I can set you up. So just after class, you can let me know. But if I set you up, you have 3 roles to administer the learning. The first is your branch administrator. That allows you the opportunity to view and see reports. The course administrator, you'll be able to assign courses to every employee or your customers, or unassign them as well. So I don't know how often you'd want to unassign them, but you can assign them, and I think you can reset the progress too. So if they didn't score very high, you can either reset it or just have them take it again until they score higher. Usually I have it as 80% is passing, and once again, you can use anything to pass this test. And I'll tell the same thing when we get to the actual training class. But the last role is a learner, because as managers, you want to make sure that you can tell your employees this is good information. The only way for you to do that is if you've taken the courses as well. So you always lead from the front, so you take the courses and then you know your employees, if you know the information, they should know the information. So once again, you can create reports. So you have user reports. You can break it down by the courses. You can break it down by tests. So you can create a report, have it scheduled. You can actually send yourself a report on a weekly, monthly basis, with the information on how many employees have taken the course, what courses they've completed, what courses they haven't completed. So. It's pretty good that you can actually generate that report to automatically email to you, because then you don't have to go in and keep on checking. Now, it is an Excel sheet, and if you want to print it out for anything, you have to just make a few adjustments to the table. So it's not that difficult. And like you said, you can see the test scores for people, and the line got moved so you can see people's names, so I'll move those. I didn't want to let you see how other people scored, but we can go in and look at. But as a learner, it'll list your learning paths from your home screen. You have access to the course catalog. You can check your own progress as well. So there is a gamification component added to it. Some people really go for it big time. Other people, they just, you have to do the training, so you do it anyway. But sometimes it gives you a little motivation that you've earned another level. Once again, this is where you join the learning path also, and then click in the course code for that. All right, this is the big one, software training classes. Once again, not everybody has time to go to a training class. Right now we have the virtual classes. So that kind of it's good and it's bad. There's something to be said for in-person classes. I can't say that enough. There's a lot more sharing involved. You can hear from another systems integrator what they do, if they do something different, or if they do something better in some instances. But it's always nice to share, be around people from different locations, see how they do things there, and everybody, it's just, sometimes it's more robust. Virtual, it's a little harder. We don't really require them to have their cameras on the whole time, but where our cameras are on the whole time, either on our screen or on the instructor. During a training class, I'll get to that, but during a training class, we want to make sure that everybody is, we give them the opportunity to do the lab exercises themselves, but we're open and online the whole time during that class. So while they're doing the exercises, just like they were in a class, they can ask the questions. The whole group can still hear everything, and then they'll answer the questions. We're able to share our screens so you can see the solution instead of just hearing it. You'll actually see where to make those changes and connect if necessary. So, and that goes back to, is training the solution? A lot of times, yes. A lot of times training is required, factory certification is required. So sometimes, depending on who your end customer is, they have some requirements that they need factory training, and you can do that. What we ask you to do first, however, is identify the need. Is training really what you need? And if not, you can, and this will start with talking to your sales rep, talking to a sales engineer. So a sales engineer can really assist you in finding the solution to your problem and determining if training is really the requirement. It'd be great if every partner sent at least one person to a training class. That way you have one person in your location who has a baseline of that KMC product knowledge. They can share it, but at the same time, they can say, hey, yeah, I recommend that everybody goes to a training class. It will only build the knowledge base for everybody, but it gives everyone that same baseline of KMC knowledge. So once again, the sales engineer would give a recommended action, and then we implement the solution. So if it's just a sales engineer coming out, evaluating your system, walking with you through an issue you're having on location, they can do that. But then it can take it that next step further. He can do kind of a small training session for you. That's not a certification program. But then it's like, okay, we're new to this. We have a big project coming up. We have a lot of people that we need to put on this, but they don't have experience with the software. Maybe we should have them go to a training class. That goes back to if you prepare them long in advance and give them the time to complete those class prerequisites. So we have about 3 to 5 hours of class prerequisites for a KMC Connect class. And we did that. We pulled a lot of content out of the actual class to put it before class. And that just, once again, it gives you, there's some people who've been to class who've never, they were like just handed the laptop. They went from pulling wire and they wanted to go into building automation systems and controls, and they might, some people are really savvy and they can do it. Other people, you need to evaluate every person individually to see if they have the knowledge and skills, because you want to set them up to succeed, not to fail. That's what we're here. We want to set you up to succeed. And with that, we have some class pricing. So this is our pricing to you. On our website, there's a different pricing, and it's basically $75 more. So anyone with tech access will see the $16.75 on our website. Everyone else pays less, depending on how many people you send, and that's just the pricing for each class and the requirements. So we've separated our class into a Connect and Total Control configuration class, because basically you configure in Connect and Total Control the same way. Slight differences: if you're going to be using Total Control, you're going to create a graphic element, so there's an extra box to click, check in some locations. But knowing that you're going to use Total Control, they're very similar, but we cover that similarities in the Connect Total Control configuration class. And then with the Total Control graphics class, you must have attended a Connect Converge configuration class. You need to have that baseline of how to use Connect, not Converge, but Total Control, to use Connect to configure the hardware, and then Total Control graphics to create the graphics in a Total Control environment. And then the Converge GFX class, you must not just have attended a Connect and Total Control class, you must be Niagara certified. We're not here to teach you how to use Niagara. We're here to teach you how to use KMC Converge GFX in the Niagara Workbench. So they're very similar. They're almost identical, using configuring in Connect and configuring in Converge GFX. Some slight differences are, I think schedules are recommended to be created in Converge GFX versus to be created in Connect. And maybe, I don't know if alarms too, but you want to do some other things in the Niagara Workbench that you don't configure in Connect, and we cover that in class as well. So, all right, and this is our price break. So if you register one person, it's usually full price, and then I give you discounts for the rest. So, and then I'll work with you if you want to have a private class at your location. We'll talk and discuss and determine what we can do to make sure we get your people trained. So, class registration. Once again, this was an easy one. All the courses are listed on that this tab under the, I don't have the URL up here, but instructor-led training classes. It tells you the information required on the purchase order. You can't really see, but that has the $16.75 price down. You scroll down and it'll list the classes open for registration. You click register, and then there's content to fill out. For virtual classes, the address you use here is the address we actually are going to ship you a class manual. So we ship a class manual. We'll also ship some a little swag box for usually national, so within the continental United States. We don't really ship them international or to Canada anymore. We run into some customs issues, shipping stuff to Canada. But we actually give you some food. It's kind of like we would give you in class. So we give you snacks because it's taking an online class. I'm taking one right now. It's kind of can be monotonous, and it's very hard to stay engaged. And food is one of those things that if have something to munch on. So we give you some snacks and some coffee and some things to hopefully keep you motivated. Or you can share with other people in the office. But the address you use here is the address we want to ship the class manual to. And if you want to attend a virtual class, have a bunch of your employees attend it at the same time, you can have them do it at your office. They can sit in the same room. Use your own laptops. You don't have to have any software configured, because what we do is give you a TOSI box soft key that will access our laptops, and then we have a student panel, and then we have panels on the wall. So we have two networks that we connect to in class in order to do our configuration. So, all right. So that's it in a nutshell. I know I went really quick, but our training is, like I said, we want to set you up to succeed, and we're constantly adding content to our training course. Like Greg Salisbury is our Niagara expert, and we're actually adding some more content for our Converge GFX class. So, and that one page I told you about, let me see if I can pull up our website. And this isn't my laptop, so. So has everybody had the opportunity to log into the partner portal and access the online training? Or has anyone not accessed the online training? You haven't? All right. So if you have partner portal access, anyone with partner portal access can access the training for free. So, and you don't need to do anything special. I have no idea where his internet connection is. Huh. So while I'm looking for this, does anyone have any questions, concerns, or just feel free to ask? Well, what I can do in the meantime until I find that.
Is there a training training station set up that KMC can recommend?
You mean hardware we recommend that you, in order to, if...
I know you guys have training or had.
Right. So I guess yes and no. If you get every piece of Conquest hardware, then that would be great. And you buy one for every employee. No, but really, if you want to learn how to configure the you get a BAC 5051 E router, you get your BAC 9001, you get your 9300, your 9000, 5900, so you get everything, and then just connect them and you can play with them. But if you attend a training class, we actually have lab exercise manuals. In those manuals, for each lab, list the components that you use for that lab. So, and unfortunately, I don't give that out for free. If you attend a class, though, then you get a copy of that manual, and then from there you can, recreate the tests we did. We do have some configurations that we do in class to set up our networks, because after every class, then we reset everything, roll it back to prior to everybody messing things up, or finding opportunities to challenge the software is what everybody does. And so yeah, there's no real specific hardware that we recommend, but if once again, in terms of learning KMC hardware and software, first stop is the partner portal and the documentation for all the hardware. That's huge. So there's, like I said, a lot of people read it that way. I don't need to go to training. I can learn it all by reading it. Great. We have a ton of content that they can learn by reading it. Well, I want a little bit more. Okay, what's the next step? The online courses. So that's the next step. All right, I think I have enough, but maybe I want a little bit more. And that's the attending a virtual or in-person class. So that's our 3 different levels of kind of learning opportunities we have at KMC Controls.
That's good for somebody that really hasn't had a whole lot of experience where they sit down and see it and get an idea of what's going on.
Right. The only thing with the YouTube videos, you can't, if you want to track your employees' own learning and knowledge to see where they are, we only have the statistics that people watched them, but if you actually take the course, online course, they actually have a test afterwards. So you'll know, you can watch a YouTube video and be doing something else, and yeah, I heard that, but if you actually have to take a test on it, then okay, I'm going to listen a little harder, I'll take the test, I'm going to learn about it a little more. If I don't pass it the first time, I can take it again until I get 100%.
Maybe someone just said, you've all seen it, so you should be something. We have proof of it.
Exactly, right.
Watch YouTube videos, yes, watch YouTube videos.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, sure you did.
You never showed me how to do this, right? Just go watch the video and tell you how.
Right, and
What's 51 minutes? 2-3 minutes, not that.
exactly, and that's the other thing. If there is anything you really want to learn that we don't have content on, we can, if there's specific applications. So I think in the future we might have some some control basic courses that show you how to do specific control basic applications, that as opposed to just how to use control basic. And we touch on in a class, we kind of, like I said, the baseline of how to use control basic, but I think we're going to move towards more in depth on, okay, how do I write line code? What does this mean? Like I said, our documentation has an extensive list of the mnemonics for you that you use, so your keywords that you're going to use to do your control basic. And that goes back to depending on what hardware you have, but I think it's Gen 5 is the control basic we use for Conquest. So, but our documentation actually lists the different keywords for each version of the software. So if you have multiple sites with, you might have some old KMD, and then you might have some Conquest. So you'll be able to... No, we do not. And a big part of that is because wind control, with the obsolescence of wind control, and the major reason for that was due to security, because Windows wasn't going to support, it wouldn't support the cybersecurity necessary for our software, other than us having to redevelop the entire software to incorporate that security into that. So it was, progress happens, change happens slow, but that's what we're doing right now. So any wind control sites you have, we probably recommend that you transfer them over to either a total control site, but there probably is going to be a little bit of work because graphics don't transfer over. So, but hopefully you don't have somebody who wants those all those graphics, and maybe they want something else. So you can give them the information they need, less spinny wheels and whatnot, and fans. So some people like the fans. Those are usually the building owners. The techs, they just need to know the points and what alarms happen and where, really. And with the software, we show you a little bit about how to find those and how to do that. So, and once again, I got this laptop today, so I'm not able to. So any questions? Does anyone, if you want to, and you can access our learning management system from your phones. If you use an Apple device, I have to tell you a little something different. It's due to a cross-platform thing, but yeah. So, but we can get. Yep, I can show you how to do that. So it's a known issue, but I know the workaround for that, so I can help you with that. But everyone, if you haven't done so, you can log in with your phones. You can access the online learning. You can see how you can, if you want to prepare to attend a KMC Connect class, you would just type in the keyword KMC Connect. Let me get the display here and I'll show you. All right. All right, so in our learning path and course catalog, whoop, wrong one. All right, so with this, here's this new screen. All right, I don't know if I can do this on this. Nope, all right. So once again, if you want to add, that's just tells you all the courses that are listed here, but here's the section that tells you about the learning paths. So all you have to do is click Join Learning Path. If you notice here, I have the learning path is listed. It just died. But the learning path is listed, the code is listed under every learning path description there. So it's just a matter of entering this code in the Join Learning Path. And I think I actually have it. And then it gives you a description of all the courses within each learning path. So it groups them together for you. So instead of, you can actually see the learning paths. And once again, there's so HVAC. So if you have somebody new to the industry, a new employee that has no idea about what a rooftop unit is, you can actually, there's only not many courses, but, oh, there we go. There's about 16 courses, but what is a VAV? So as simple as that, what is a rooftop unit? What is lead? So that's another thing as well. So new people, you can even have someone who's answering the phones, someone who's even a line tech. If they've never had controls experience, at least you can give them a baseline of knowledge to start with. And then we have a cybersecurity learning path. This is the 9 courses, so it gives you an overview, but once again, you can assign these to your employees without having, and a lot of people are having, they kind of tie it into that cybersecurity month every year, so you can have a cybersecurity awareness training week, and then you can actually print free posters from I can't remember who it was exactly, but you can get free posters, PDFs, and you can print them out and hang them out in your office just to build awareness about cybersecurity. Take these these courses free, and if you want to have them reassigned every year, I can work on that with you to every year, every 2 years. It's a refresher. It's something that you want to keep it in your mind. But these are the most basic ones at this time. But protecting your, just clicking on an email. For a lot of people, you might not think that's, I know I don't do it. I don't just click on anything. And it helps you to check the URL, checks you the sender, verify those things. If you have your boss sending you an email, hey, I need some iTunes gift cards, just scratch off the back and write the codes and email them to me. That's happened. That happens to people. You don't do that. If you communicate with your staff, they'll know that I won't send a request like that via email. So, all right, and then and it just lists all the different courses for every learning path and how long. So, like with the right now, the class prerequisites, they're 3 to 5 minute videos, and then it might take you 1 to 2, but depending on how much time you spend and how much focus, it might take you, that's an estimated amount of time with watching the video and taking the test. So 3 to 5 hours, depending on the person. A lot of people, they might not already know the information. That's great. You watch it, it's a refresher. They take the test, they get 100%, they get 80%, and they can always retake it every year. You can make sure your employees every few years know their KMC product knowledge and reassign them the courses. I'm working on the total control. We're getting more content for there. So right now we just have the overview. And then we have some Converge GFX courses there as well. So router diagnostic, that's big. So, and these are, we want you to, before attending a class, see these things, and then when we're in class, you can actually manipulate them and put them through their paces. So that's our online training paths and course catalog. And then the other option we have is, the Guide to KMC Training. So once again, this was the document that lists everything you never wanted to know about training. So it goes from class pricing, partner portal access, student requirements, class registration, how to log in. So I put the pricing there because the customers can download this document too. So that's not a big thing. But partner portal access, we do have some student requirements that we recommend that, once again, these requirements aren't because we want to be mean. We want to make sure you're setting your employees up to succeed as well. We want everybody to succeed. So it's kind of like we don't have a problem if you phone a friend or use your documentation, or that's what we recommend to do. We want you to succeed. That's why we provide you all that documentation. That's why we provide you the online courses. We have so many opportunities to help you empower your employees to learn how to use KMC properly. And not only to use it, how to sell it, how to register for a class. So this tells you how to register for a class. We kind of did that. After you register for a class, the purchase order, we'll work with you on the purchase order, but in order to get that final confirmation, we need the purchase order. And then they click register, and then we'll approve them. We use To Training as our platform for our virtual training classes. Actually use To Training for any in-person classes as well. It allows us the opportunity, everyone gets registered so we can see who's registered. It's kind of just a pass-through point, but for our virtual classes, our platform is To Training. So that gets back to computer access, to making sure they have admin rights, because there is To Training that has to be installed. The TASI box soft key has to be installed, and if they don't have admin rights, then we spend a little bit of time during the class to contact your tech support and get the computer so it's working, or have a different computer. Because once again, this can be taken from a home laptop because you're really not using the software, so you don't have to worry about using Connect on your computer. So we don't recommend taking it from an iPad or from a Chromebook or anything like that. Well, Chromebook's probably fine, but not an iPad or an Android tablet. Just because you're going to actually using your computer like you'd use your computer to configure, use the software in the field. So, like I said, online training, this is where I show you how to log in. You just like normally sign in. It's going to ask you, you might get some accept and requests, but if you've never logged in, you'll get this. This will be your first probably view to get your first course. I have it set up so when you do log in, you're going to be assigned Welcome to KMC Training, so it kind of gives you a high-level overview. And then it just shows you how to get a course. That'll add to your My Courses, and then just how to take a course. So I put everything in there so you can give this to your employees to walk through, and it's pretty intuitive. Most people can figure out how to use it, but this is where you join the learning path. And then all it's a matter of doing is you click Join Learning Path, and then you enter in that code. And right above there, I put the prerequisites for class you're going to attend. You type that in. Instead of having to go and add all those individual courses, it'll add, so you put KMC Connect, it'll add 36 courses to your My Courses instantly. So hopefully I'll see if I had it turned on so you'd get an email notification, but you'd get 36 email notifications that you registered for each class. So maybe I'll leave it on, and then I'll get a nasty email from you. That way I know you logged in. All right, and you just join Learning Path. So, and once again, this document tells you everything. Class materials, we provide everything. The only thing for a virtual class, and even if you attend an in-person class, we provide everything. You don't even have to bring a computer. It's kind of nice if you don't bring a work computer, but we understand you have to work, so we provide opportunities. If you have to step out of the classroom, you can do that. We're not going to be, holding you to, you can't leave, you're not going to pass the class. But at the end of class, we do have a test, and once again, we want to set you up to succeed, not to fail. So we kind of make it easier for you, but you still have to know where to find the information. So. And that's how you do it in the field. You don't know everything you need to know, But as long as you know the person who you can contact or where you can find that information, that's key. So making sure your own employees know who they can contact and where they can find information, that's crucial as well. So, and I can't reiterate it enough, product documentation, there's a ton of it, especially for Connect. So you have the Connect installation and application guide, I think, and then there's that not only does it tell you how to install it, but then it also tells you, like I said, it got the control basic syntax in there, so, and it has different, pretty much everything the software, and the help documentation is the same documentation that's the help system in the actual software. So you can actually go through the software, use the help there, and find the same content. Sometimes it's easier to look at a PDF version of it and then instead of trying to filter it through the help system. So, and like I said, we provide the laptops with all the software necessary. So with a Connect class, it's already installed, Total Control already installed. We have workbenches installed with Converge GFX. So how many people are in the Niagara environment? All right. So are you a Niagara partner with KMC, or did you have workbenches purchased from somewhere else? Okay. So if you're a Niagara partner, usually if you buy a KMC workbench, it comes with the Converge GFX. If you have a third party, we call it a third party because it's not a KMC workbench, we sell the third party applications of Converge GFX. It's cheaper to buy our workbench, and it includes those. You still have to license, of course, the Converge and the workbench and whatnot. But I think we're done. Is that it? Does anyone have any questions? If you don't, that's fine. My name is, I don't think I put it at the end of the slide, John Slack. My email is jslack@kmccontrols.com. If you'd like a card, I can give you a card. And feel free to contact me if you want to tell me now that you want to set up a branch for you. Go ahead and probably the best bet would be to email me, and then you can just email me and I can set you up a branch. It's not that difficult. And then what will happen is if you don't have employees signed up yet, as everyone that signs up, then I make sure I have to manually put them in your branch, not a big deal. So I can do that, not a problem.